Hey man, do you want to play some Mario Party? Oh sure, okay. Cool, I'll set up the Switch. What the hell man? You just stole my star. I just got that star a few turns ago. Well, it's not my fault I stole your stars. I had enough coins to steal 2 of your stars, so deal with it. Hi guys, I'm Dimension Jumper and today we're reviewing Super Mario Party for the Nintendo Switch. Now, this game is the latest game to come out in the Mario Party franchise or series. And it's one of those games that's well known for basically ruining friendships. So, there is a story mode, but it's not really that important. It's basically the Mario and friends and company trying to find out who the superstar is out of all of them. But Bowser wants to join in the party as well, and so do some of his minions. For example, Boo, Bowser Jr., Dry Bones, those sorts of characters. And you basically play on these different boards, which is kind of like an interesting thing, because the boards in this game are kind of like some of the most unique ones in the game and in the whole series as well. So the main thing in Mario Party is you and some of the friends basically collecting stars on different boards, and the person who has the most stars is the winner overall. Now I think this is my favourite Mario Party out of the whole, and I've only played like 2 Mario Party games. I know that's not saying much, but I've only played the DS version, and this is out of the 2 games that I've played, this is probably the most entertaining, most brilliant Mario Party game that I've played. Reason for it is because the amount of characters you can play. So you can not only play as normal characters like Mario, Luigi, Peach, Yoshi, Daisy, Waluigi and Wario, but you can also play as Bowser, Shy Guy, Bowser Jr., Pom-Pom, and a lot of other characters. Now in previous Mario Party games, there were Bowser spaces that whenever you land on them, Bowser can either make sure that you or other players get like either good or bad luck. So for example, he might move the star to another location, he might give half of your coins or stars to other players, that sort of thing. But in this one, because Bowser is a playable character, those spaces are changed from Bowser spaces to bad luck spaces. And I think that's kind of a bad thing-ish. It's not really like make turns anything major, but it would have been nice if we could have had some Bowser spaces, so that it would have had some more strategy to the game and had some basically more strategy to the game of where you rolled and went on different spaces and stuff. So obviously in the main game you've got your normal dice block, but it's your 1 through 6 dice block instead of a 1 through 10. And that's kind of like a good and bad thing, because then you've got like a more of a strategy. But it's kind of like a bad thing, because like it would have been nice if we had like a 10-sided dice block. And also, apart from the normal dice block, you've got your own custom dice block, which adds even more strategy to the game, because every single dice block is different. So for example, for Mario, he's got like some 3s and some like a 5 and a 6 and a 1, I think. So, and that's like kind of a good strategy. So like if you want to get like from one place to the other, you might want to use your Mario dice block. For other characters like Bowser, he's got a 10 and an 8 and a 9, I think. And Bowser's probably the most OP dice block, own custom dice block ever to have in the game. And other characters have their own custom dice block, which can either be good or bad. Another new thing in the game are ally spaces. Now I quite like the ally spaces because you can basically get a random ally in the game, which will not only give you their own custom dice block, but they will also give you an extra 1 to 2 extra spaces to move on, and you can have up to like 4 allies at a time. And I think that's really cool because then you can have up to 8 extra spaces you can go up to, and that's really enjoyable. And as I said again, even more strategy to the game. Apart from the main party mode, you've also got rhythm games, which is basically these mini games in which you have to basically beat to the rhythm of the game, and that's kind of like a really harder version of the game, I kind of feel like, because there are some parts of the game where you have to like either hit blocks, use these like cheerleader things. I'm not sure what they are. They kind of look like cheerleader thingies. I'm not too sure. Don't ask me why. It's kind of hard to say. There's also one with glasses, like these like glass wine things, and they're probably my favorite mini game, because then you have to like it's not only like to wait for all the glasses to stack on each other, but you have to like pull this like cloth table thing underneath them and make sure they stack. And there's also, apart from the main party mode, there's also the dual party, 2 people going as 1 team mode. I'm not too sure what it is, but it's basically the same as party normal single player mode, but you can also play with a friend or a computer player. And I think they're like not as good as the main party mode, because one, you can move freely around the board, but it's not as good as party mode in my opinion. The mini games in the game are really good. In an old video I made a list of some of my favourite mini games, and in this game there's a lot of good mini games. You've got a mini game where you have to collect pancakes. There's a mini game in which you have to use your tricycle to get from one side to the other of this short track. You can use another player to like combine 2 shapes together, and I think that's really cool. Now it's time for some gameplay. So when you do start up the game, you can choose like any of the characters. So here's like, and I think this is like the biggest roster of Mario Party characters, like in the entire series, yeah. And you can choose up to like, if you're playing by yourself or with friends, like let's say you're playing with 2 other friends, you will have to choose an NPC that will be with you. So, and I wish they didn't do that, because then you could just be playing with your friends. So you can have recommended, hard, or very hard, and there will be random characters that will be chosen for you, for like these characters right here. So I'm just going to choose these characters just so I can hear. So you can go and like look at all the different places. So for example, there's Terry's rec room. Yeah, we can just get in. And this is basically a room where you can have different games, but you can only use like the Nintendo Switch or multiple Nintendo Switches. There's also Challenge Road, which is basically harder versions of the mini games. There's also there's basically mini games. There's free play, marathon, square off, view records, that sort of thing, but I've only played in free play mode. Then there's Soundstage, which is basically a rhythm game, the main Mario Party, and then there's River Survival, and there's Partner Party. So I think that's quite cool. And if you go on the Mario Party one, you can have up to a certain amount of turns, but only 3 different turns, and they all have a certain amount of hours you can use them. So for example, 10 minutes is 60 minutes, 15 turns is 90 minutes, and 20 turns is 120 minutes. And I think that's quite good, because they don't have like, you know, a lot of turns, which I think is good, but they also have like a certain amount of, and it will tell you how long each game will play out, which is better than the Wii U version, because the Wii U version, I've seen like people playing the Wii U version, and it's basically they play on a board and it doesn't really do that long like on a certain board. I wonder what this do. Okay, and also those stickers you can collect. Various amount of stickers, and that I haven't really used like at all, because it's kind of like a forgettable moment in my opinion. It's like, why is it in there? So here are all the different stages. So yeah, and my favourite one, if I had to choose a favourite one out of these boards, it would be out of probably Mega Fruit Paradise and probably King Bob-omb's Powder Cake Mine. Those are probably my 2 favourites. But just because of how ingenious the boards are. For the Mega Fruit one, it's because not only can you travel between the different parts of the board via the pipes, but you can also there's also a blooper, and I like the powder cake mine because of the King Bob-omb, and if you're in the King Bob-omb center and he goes off and where it already explodes, you will lose coins. So I'm just going to show you how it might work. So Tay will say that if this is his first time, if you say yes, he'll show you the rules. If you know, you will move on. Yeah, that sort of thing. And at the beginning of every match or game, you have to see, as well as to see who's being in first, second, third, fourth, or fifth. As they were just there, I came last, and Donkey Kong came first because he got 5th, he got number 6, and you'll also be given coins. Now each of the spaces does different things. So you've got blue spaces, which gives you coins. You've got red spaces, which gives you less coins. You've got your item spaces, which give you a random item, and you've got your event spaces, which gives you a random event, and you've also got your bad luck spaces, which basically gives you a bad thing, and etc, etc. Yeah, so DK, Donkey Kong, it's probably got a good dice because he's got like a 10 on it, so it's Bowser on his dice. And yeah. So if you get a random, and so you get a random number, which gives you like goes certain places, and this is probably like ingenious with the whole space moving mechanic thing, because now Waluigi's at the start, but he doesn't have enough coins because, as I said before, you need 10 coins to get a star. But apart from if you're in the Kamek board, because each coin will have more coins. So it's now I go. Now I can either have the normal data block, which is 1 through 6, or my own data block, which has 2 minus 2 coins, 2 5 spaces, and 2 7 spaces. So I'll just use this for example. So as this is there, I got -2, and I don't move. And a thing that comes back is the mini games. So after everybody's go, a mini game will play, and they will be different ones. So there'll be a 4-player mini game, a 2v2, or a 3v1, and that was really nice. And there was like a lot of like good ingenious mini games. So for example, this one is basically you should avoid all of these ink guys. I think they're called fuzzies. I'm not too sure on the names, so don't quote me on that. So yeah, and just basically have to avoid them all. Ooh, yeah, so obviously I won. And I think like the mini games, as I said before, are really cool because of how each one aren't repeated. Like in each game, so for example, if you're playing, let's say the one I just played, you won't repeat it again. You'll get a different mini game, and I think that's really cool. So yeah, you saw how it's been done now. So back to the review. So in the main party mode, you're trying to collect stars, and I think that's a really good option. Well, even though it's been around since the original Mario Party game, I think with this one especially, there's like a lot of good strategies in order to get the star. So in some of the boards, you've got these fruit tropical type boards. So there's like half of a watermelon, and there's a pineapple type floats thing, and I think that's quite cool because like each of these island things are interconnected by pipes, and if you want to try and get to the star, let's say you're on one side of the map and the star is on the other side of the map, you might want to use the pipes to get to the other side, and I think that's really cool. There's also a sort of thwomp type ruins. There's also a mine with a king bomb, and there's also a gold mine. No, not the gold mine, but sort of like a vault full of gold bars, and I think that's really cool. Now, the star costs 10 coins, but if you're in the gold bar vault board, yeah, I don't know what I said, just the board, just said board really weird. You can change the amount of the coin. You can have a coin worth 5 coins, a star worth 5 coins, or have a star worth 15 coins. And I think that's like the most unique board in the game, because you need to like have a certain amount of coins in order to get the star. And towards the end of towards the end of a particular board, you will have the chance to have 2 stars. But in the gold bar vault board, I think you can have up to 3 stars at a time, and I think that's really cool. So, and at the end of each game or board or whatever, you can have bonus stars, and they will be stars based on how unlucky you were, how many allies you've gotten, how many coins you might have gathered. A lot of interesting bonus stars, and this is where the game makes or breaks for you, because if let's say you've got 1 star and your other friends have 2 stars, you might be given, the person with the 1 star might be given the most unlucky star and the most coins collected, let's say, bonus stars, and then they will win automatically because of the amount of stars they have. And the last time I played this game was with 2 friends of mine, and I just won like by default because of the stars, because like I remember the bonus stars being like the friend bonus or something. I can't remember, but it was just like I just got very, very lucky in the game when it came to the bonus stars. So yeah, so for my final sort of verdict of the game, this is by far the best Mario Party game ever. I think it's sort of what it takes from like older Mario Party games, like for the Nintendo 64, and it just makes it better. So yeah, that's been my review for Super Mario Party for the Nintendo Switch. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and hit the bell for more notifications, and I'll see you in the next video.